All right, go ahead.
So it seems like, from what I've gathered and from what I've seen, that poetry is dead. Not because there's people not writing it. I think there's plenty of people writing it. Not because there's not people sharing it, but it's kind of like when you go to a church on Sunday and you're visiting. And you're me, or you're my age or our age or whatever age. And you walk into a new church and you're the youngest person there. And the service is good and the poetry reading is good, but it's not necessarily a gripping community and it doesn't have a lot of pull. I understand now that poetry has to compete with stimulus that is far more stronger than it's ever been before. Like, who is going to compete against Snapchat? A poem is going to have a lot of trouble competing against TikTok or whatever else social media you choose. So the poetry community is already kind of waning out. You're seeing some older people at these readings who grew up memorizing poems. You know, their father would read them Longfellow before bed or something. That's done. The people who are writing it, for the most part, aren't sharing it. And the people who are writing and sharing it, they're great, but it's an older crowd that doesn't seem to have the same vitality as maybe you'd want something as powerful as poetry to have. Where we go from here is me calling on poets who I would say are anything like me or anywhere around my level of vigor to just write and share. I don't know what the sharing looks like. We have Back Bay Podcast if you want us to boost you up at all. I try to do poetry readings every once in a while, but there are so many good poets who are doing nothing with their craft. There are so many people who write good poetry every single night and might share it with a friend, or they started it for a class. They're not viewing it as a basic human emotional faculty. Humans are supposed to write. It's part of our entire script that we are writers and we are creators. You don't have to be a fluent, well-read person to write. It helps because you can access more of the greats, but to be a writer is to be human. It's to exercise the basic human function of expression. If you don't write, you're denying yourself part of your emotional character, which is essentially part of your spirit. If you deny that, you're going to miss out on a lot. And the only thing you're going to miss out is knowing yourself better. And we all need to come together and realize that we are all very lacking that. There's a basic misunderstanding most of us have about ourselves, and writing tries to combat that. So please write. I know a lot of you are, but please share, please grow. We can make more of a community, and it's not even about community building, it's just more of and community building is really important. I would never marginalize that. I think hanging out with poets is like one of the funnest things in the world, just because it's a lot of people who don't mind turning the lens inward for a little bit. Especially after hanging out with a lot of people who don't do that. Like, poets are great to hang out with, but it is community building, but it's also individual salvation. Know that. Don't be afraid to take that step. And we all look forward to your writing.